two buildings are 280 feet apart. The angle of elevation from the top of the shorter building to the top of the other building is 22 degrees. If the shorter building is 100 feet high, how high is the taller building? Pretty hard to absorb all that information in one reading, right? So I think we should draw the picture here. And I should probably back off the view a little bit to get a little more room. So let's draw a picture. I'm going to use my drawing tool here. I'm going to make this guy, there's a shorter building, right? I'm going to make that guy the shorter building. Now, we don't make assumptions that we don't read about in the book. In other words, we don't make crazy assumptions. We're going to assume flat ground between the buildings. Otherwise, it becomes a much more complicated problem. So if I can get this to go flat, there we go. So we're going to assume that's the ground between the buildings, flat ground, unless you're told otherwise. And then I'm going to draw the taller building over here. And then I'm thinking you guys might not be able to see that well, so I'll make it a little bigger. Okay. So let's label the picture appropriately. And while you're doing this, it's going to help you understand the question if you don't understand it yet. So draw the picture. Two buildings are 280 feet apart. So, I mean, you're going to measure this from the closest portions of the building to each other, right? We're not going off at weird angles. We'll assume we can draw the profiles of the building on a flat piece of paper, like we're doing. So that it only makes sense to call this distance the 280 feet. Then the angle of elevation from the top of the shorter building to the top of the other building is 22 degrees. Well, we're going to assume that who's ever measuring this is going to get as close to the other building on top of the shorter building as possible. So we'll say they put their measuring tool to measure that angle right here at the corner of the top of the other building, or the edge really, and then they measure this line of sight to this corner right there. And the angle of elevation then, if you draw in the horizontal from the lower building, the horizontal would go this way. If I could draw horizontally, it would go that way. Try again. Almost. And then the angle of elevation would just be the angle formed right here, which is 22 degrees. Do we know any other information? The shorter building is 100 feet. That's going to be useful information. If the shorter building is 100 feet, then this distance, this portion of the taller building is 100, and I think we're going to need that. That's 100 feet as well. So from ground level to the bottom of this triangle that I formed, that's 100 feet, isn't it? Yes?
I'm assuming both of the buildings were constructed straight up except for an angle.
Right. And hopefully they are. If it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, then we're in trouble. Okay. So do you guys see the right triangle there? Okay, let's label the sides. I know that this bottom side, I've already labeled it down here, but I'm going to reinforce that by putting in a 280 right there. And so what side of that triangle do I need to answer the question? I might have to do something with it afterwards, but what side of the triangle can I use in relation to 22 degrees to answer the question? The opposite side. So I'm just going to call that, you could call it OPP if you want. I'm just going to call it Y because it's vertical. I usually call vertical lengths Y, horizontal lengths X. Okay. Now, which trig, this is what you have to answer. This is the question you have to pose to yourself to understand how to set up an equation that's going to help you solve the problem. You have to answer the question, which trig function relates the side I'm looking for to the side I'm given. And in order to do that, you need SOHCAHTOA. You need to have that mnemonic device memorized. It's the one good way to do it anyway. It's not the only way. But if you realize that you have the opposite side, and 280 would be the adjacent side to the given angle, so you have opposite and adjacent, there's only two trig functions you could use, tangent and cotangent, but we use the familiar tangent. So this is what I want to see you set up. I want to see you write down the tangent of 22 degrees, and then I want to see the trig ratio. What's that equal to in my picture here? Y over 280. Y divided by 280. Now, if you prefer, you could write it this way. Y divided by 280, if you like the variable on the left, equals tangent 22 degrees. And I want to see you, before you get your calculator out, I want to see you solve that equation for y. You have y divided by 280 on the left side, so what do you do to get y by itself? Yeah, you would multiply both sides by 280. So you'd go 280 as a factor over here, 280 as a factor over here, gone, get the y by itself. Okay, so you get y is equal to 280 tangent 22 degrees. And that's going to be some, we can plug that in our calculator easy enough. I'm not in a hurry to do that. That's going to be some number. Is it the answer to our problem? No. What do you have to do to that to get the answer? You have to add 100, right? Does everybody see why? Because that only gives us the portion of the building's height above 100. So the height of the building, if I want to be using complete sentences here, the height of the building is, okay, it's technically 100 plus tan 22, right? And I can't put in the degree symbol there very easily. I can, but I'll just do it like that. Now, did I put in I forgot the 280, didn't I? Darn it. So let's do that. Yeah, you have to copy it down right. Okay. That's all well and good. I like it that you can get exact answers. But now we should probably get a decimal approximation at some point, right? So that is going to be, okay, so approximately, right? It'll tell you within your homework what to round to. But I would just type it in the calculator like this. We have 100. I would just type it all in at once. 100 plus 280. Make sure you're in degree mode. Tan of, what did we say it was, 22? Hit enter. 213.1, let's say, if we round to one decimal place. What units? Yeah, make sure you put in the units.